Welcome, everybody, to Intensity Broadcasting. My name is Josh Hall. This is the Original Rebels Racing League Grand National Series. This is the throwback race from Darlington Speedway. The track that's too tough to tame, the Lady in Black. The track has a lot of different nicknames, but it's going to be a tricky one for these drivers here tonight. See Eddie Smith currently at the top of the board. I apologize for the little bit of a skip there. iRacing is not playing nicely with me here tonight. As Eddie Smith is currently fastest at the top of the board. Mike Kosick in second, Jonah Colbert in third. You see the playoff picture there. Eddie Smith and Jonah Colbert currently the only two locked into the final four. Of course, we'll see tonight where these drivers end up. I apologize for the skip there. I'm going to go ahead and throw up the replay screen because I want to see if I can get this fixed up on my end real quick. And again, I do apologize for the issues there. Does look like it might be settling out. I believe it is an issue here with iRacing itself. So we are hitting the wrong button there, and see Jonah Colbert out on track currently, and he's getting his final laps of practice underway. Of course, whether you watch on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch, we do appreciate you joining us here tonight. Again, we hope this little bit of a connection issue here gets itself settled out. Again, I do apologize throwing that up right there. See if I can get this to calm itself down a little bit. Not really sure what's causing the issues out here tonight. Again, I do apologize. See Jonah making his way out onto the racetrack. Again, I do apologize. I'm going to be quiet for a second while I try to figure this out on my end over here. See Steve McDonald currently out on track, and his qualifying attempt underway. Currently 8th fastest on the board. Mike Kosick just made his qualifying attempt. Ray Page just finished up his. Brandon Pollock currently sitting at the end of pit road, getting ready to make his qualifying attempt. So it looks like he is not on pit road. Jesse Nekula also in the race here tonight. Just 3 drivers yet left to qualify. And that is Jesse Nekula, Matt Kleeman, and Brett Bieber. Again, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch, we do appreciate you joining us here tonight. As we get set here, with about a minute and a half left before we get qualifying or racing underway. I am going to go back away for just a second, trying to square up some things on my end, having these technical issues. I do apologize. We'll be right back with you.
green, green, green.
There we go. We are green flag racing here tonight, as we didn't realize I was muted. I do apologize for that, but we are racing here. Eddie Smith out to the lead in front of Michael Kosick. Already we have some issues with some cars around on the backstretch, but no caution. Steve McDonald having some issues here on the start. Let's see if we can go back and see what happened to the 68. You see him down on the low side of William Griffith as they come off of turn number 2, and he just loses it all by himself. Really easy to do right there. Catches the inside wall. That is going to end McDonald's day, as we know that they do not have resets here in this league. Mike Kosick trying to work down to the inside of Eddie Smith, but Eddie able to stay out in front. Well, further back we see Jonathan Cofield. He's got that true value. He's got a throwback here to the old iRock days. So some of these drivers are going to have some throwback paint jobs here tonight. That's what we wanted to see. See if we can see any others throughout the field here. I don't really see any other big throwbacks here tonight. Well, looks like Jason Lottridge has a throwback on his car as well. Up front, though, Mike Kosick trying to run down Eddie Smith. As we take a look at the playoff picture coming into tonight, Eddie Smith, currently your points leader. Him and Jonah Cobart are locked in. Andy Kurtz, Mike Kosick, currently 3rd and 4th in points. Daniel Cunningham, though, 10 points behind Kosick, trying to lock himself in here tonight, along with Brandon Pollock. Both Pollock, Cofield, and Lottridge basically need a win to move on to the Final Four, as Mike Kosick thought about making a move down to the inside of Eddie Smith, just wasn't close enough to make that move happen. Just realized that my timing and scoring never updated up on the screen there, so there we go. Sorry about that again. All sorts of technical issues here tonight, but Mike Kosick is right there on the back bumper of Eddie Smith and trying to run him down.
All right, man, caution is out.
Nope.
Caution is out.
Looks like caution is out, and it looks like it is for... Looks like Matt Kleeman has returned to the pits here, so we're going to go ahead and pull up the Kinder Farm and Ranch Wreckage Rewind here. So we take a look to see what happened to Matt Kleeman. To that 19 running all by himself here, coming off a turn number 2, and oh, Griff just got loose, catches Bieber and Kleeman there. Great move there from Jason Lottridge to get around. And let's go back to Griff here and see if we can see what happened to Griff. It looks, oh, we caught him. He's already mid-slide, way down on that low side, and that's not where you want to be. There's no grip right there, and you see that 12 come around, overcorrects, catches Kleeman, catches Bieber, and everybody goes sliding down through the infield. So a couple drivers make their way down onto pit road. We see Brandon Wallace, Brandon Pollock, Ray Page, Jason Lottridge, all down on pit road. Brett Bieber coming down pit road, trying to get some of that damage repaired. Steve McDonald coming down pit road as well. He's got some damage on the front there. Kleeman ended up unfortunately retiring from the race here tonight. And it looks like the frame rate has finally settled down there. So I think, again, I do believe there's an issue there with iRacing. Could have been on my side. Again, I do apologize for the skipping frames as they skip right there. And not 100% sure what is causing that. But the lights on the pace car are off. We're going to re-rack them, restack them, and get ready to refire them here. Eddie Smith's going to choose the outside, putting Mike Kosick down on the low side. Daniel Cunningham's going to restart on the bottom in row number 2 with Jonah Cobert up to the high side. Then we see the 84 Jesse Necula and the 58 Jonathan Cofield back in row number 3. Of course, we want to thank all of our great partners that make this league possible, including Kinder Farm and Ranch, Cofield Asphalt Refinishing, Dark Horse Motorsports, Chuck Pegleg Felts, JC Race Graphics, and Rebels Racing Network. All of the great partners that keep this series alive. Do appreciate all the support. Here we go. Eddie Smith's going to lead them back down to the Geico restart zone. Green flags back in the air. We are back racing. And I think Eddie Smith may have went a little early there. We'll have to see if a black flag comes out for Smith as Mike Kosick down on the low side gets passed by Jonah Cobert. That's going to put Cobert up well out in front of the 8 machine. As Kosick now has the 54 of Daniel Cunningham right there on the back bumper, followed by the 58 of Jonathan Cofield. As I mentioned, Cunningham, Cofield, they're in a must-win position here tonight. A little battle back here. Jason Lottridge, gets loose there. Trying to run that lower lane through turns 1 and 2. It's a very unique line around this track. If we ride along with Eddie Smith here as you come down the front stretch, right up against that wall. And as you come down into turn number 1, you dive right down to the dashes, come right out to the wall, pick the throttle up, then you let off again, cut the car down to the bottom, pick up the throttle again. So it's almost like a double apex as you go through turns 1 and 2, down into turns 3 and 4. Again, you want to run that higher lane right up against the wall. And that is a lap around Darlington Speedway. Brandon Pollock having some issues. He's spun down to the inside. Caution is back out. That's going to bring up another Kinder Farm and Ranch wreckage rewind. So we take a look to see what happened to the driver of the 4. Jason Lottridge up into the wall right in front of Ray Page. Ray Page has nowhere to go, spins the 48 around. Those two collect the wall. And then Brandon Pollock just nowhere to go, makes contact. And he slides down towards the inside wall. Looks like he's able to keep it off the wall, though. It's really easy to slide up and catch the wall here at Darlington. That's why they give the term the Darlington stripe when the driver gets up into the wall, scrapes that right side. While we've got a little break in the action, we want to also thank our great partner, the Butt Kicker. Of course, Butt Kicker is an established leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel ultra-low frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. The patented design makes them incredibly accurate, powerful, and virtually indestructible. The Gamer Plus is the new and upgraded sim racing haptic that reproduces immersive, accurate, and powerful sim racing, flight sim, and gaming effects. Check out the full line of Butt Kicker products to figure out which one's right for you. Visit thebuttkicker.com. And not just they have gaming haptics, but you can buy subwoofers and haptics that fit into your couch or around your couch for listening to music or watching movies. So you can check out the full line at thebuttkicker.com. So we're getting ready for the lights to go off on the pace car so we can do it all over again here at Darlington. Working lap number 15 out of 100 here tonight. As the field makes their way through turns 3 and 4, we should see the lights turning off here on the pace car. So Eddie Smith leads Mike Kosick, Jonah Colbert, Daniel Cunningham, Jonathan Cofield, Andy Kurtz back up into the 6th position. Then Jesse Nekula and Brett Bieber 7th and 8th. And Ray Page and Tyler Rice make up your top 10. Space car makes that hard left-hand turn down on the pit road. Green flag back in the air. Oh, big checkup here as Cofield spun the tires on the start, caught the outside wall. That's going to allow Brandon Wallace and Brandon Pollock almost got on by too, but man, big checkup there on the start. A couple drivers had to get out of it to keep from wrecking, but really stretches out your top 3. Now Eddie Smith, Jonah Colbert, and Mike Kosick are out in front of Daniel Cunningham by almost a second, as Cunningham has Andy Kurtz currently running him down. Back up front, A. Smith pulling away from Jonah Colbert. Jonah, though, that has Kosick right there on the back bumper. So we take a look off the back bumper of Jonah Colbert as Kosick, last time by, did run a little bit quicker than Jonah, and he's trying to make his way back up to the back bumper of that 31 machine. Our top 3 currently run under a blanket here at Darlington as we approach the 1/4 mark of the race. Here comes Kosick with a look down underneath. Jonah Colbert trying to take over that second spot. A little further back, Andy Kurtz trying to run down Daniel Cunningham to take over the fourth position. It looks like Kosick slipped up a little bit, lost a little bit of ground to the 31 of Colbert. As Colbert's now trying to run down Eddie Smith. Last time by, our top three ran identical times. Eddie Smith ran a 29.69. Colbert ran a 29.62. Mike Kosick ran a 29.62. So all three of our top three setting the pace here tonight at Darlington. As you just saw Jonah get really loose there off of turn number 4. Here comes Kosick looking down to the inside. Jonah Colbert was almost up in the wall there, side by side off of turn number 4. Kosick down to the bottom. He's got the nose as they head towards turn number 1. Jonah has that advantage on the high side of turn number 1. He uses it to keep out in front of Mike Kosick. And you see those two battling. What it did to let Eddie Smith just pull away. Well, further back, we see Tyler Rice working around Ray Page to take over that 11th position. And Brett Bieber has Jonathan Cofield running him down currently. Cofield has that damage to the right front after catching the wall on the restart. But he's doing what he can to try to run down that 808. Back up front, Eddie Smith, Jonah Colbert. Jonah is running down the 87 as Smith got real loose there off of turn number 2. Now allows Colbert just to catch right up. And here comes Kosick right back on the back bumper. And our front three are now back to being nose to tail. As they continue to pull away from 4th place, Daniel Cunningham. Oh, Kosick got a little loose that time off the corner. Loses a little bit of momentum to the 31 of Colbert. The field starting to stretch themselves out just a little bit as you see Andy Kurtz starting to run down Daniel Cunningham now. And that is a battle for the 4th position. So our top three continue to run single file. This time, though, Kosick is right there on the back bumper. But just not close enough to make the move. And you can see just how difficult it really is to pass here. Jonah slips up a little bit that time and allows Kosick to gain just a little bit more momentum. All three drivers right there up against the wall, trying to find their way around this tricky egg-shaped mile track. Brett Bieber now has Jonathan Cofield starting to run him down a little bit. Back up front, Jonah has caught Eddie Smith. Now he's trying to find his way around. Here comes Jonah down to the inside. Down into turn number 3, and Eddie Smith is going to have to give up that position as Jonah Colbert now takes over the lead here at Darlington. Here comes Mike Kosick. Thought about making a look down to the inside of Eddie Smith. Jonah Cofield just hit pit road. Looks like he's coming to get tires and fuel here on lap number 38. The field really starting to stretch out here as we take a look at the track map. See where everybody is out on track. Eddie Smith just coming across the line. Your top three, as I mentioned, under a blanket. Then you see Daniel Cunningham, Andy Kurtz. It's a battle for the 4th position as Andy's now caught the 54 and trying to move his way forward as they come off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch. Here comes Kurtz down to the inside. And Kurtz is going to take that position away, so move Andy up into the 4th position. Again, you can really see just how much the field is stretched out here. in the late goings of the race. I see Jonah Colbert up at the front and starting to pull away from second and third place. As we are getting ready for drivers to start making their way down on pit road, here goes Ray. Oh, Ray Page missed pit road. He just caught the water barrels there at the entrance of pit road. See Jesse Nekula also make their way down on the pit road. So drivers starting to pit here as we are about 6 laps away from halfway. So Eddie Smith has now fallen back into the third position as the sun goes down, the lights start to come on here at Darlington. That means that the track's going to start gaining a little bit of grip as the track temperature cools off. Had a couple early cautions and everything's been pretty much smooth sailing since. Again, looking at the playoff picture coming into tonight, you see Andy Kurtz, Mike Kosick currently above the cut line as Jonah looks like he's peeling off down towards pit road. Eddie Smith follows down as well. That's going to put Kosick back in the lead. So Kosick and Kurtz currently running one. Well, Kurt's now making his way down pit road. I was going to say he was running back in the third spot. Both those drivers trying to lock themselves into the final 4 in 2 weeks. Couple more drivers coming down pit road. We see the 808 of Brett Bieber down on pit road. Tyler Rice making his way down on the pit road as well. That's going to leave just 3 drivers still out on the track. Mike Kosick, Daniel Cunningham, Brandon Wallace. I take that back. Steve McDonald is still out there as well. So 4 drivers left the pit here tonight. As here comes Kosick now down on the pit road. It's a tricky pit road to get down onto as well. You're carrying so much speed. The apron is so large. It's such a tight turn. Really easy, as we saw Ray Page, really easy to miss pit road here at Darlington. So we see the 54 Daniel Cunningham now out on track. In the lead, in second place, is the 99 of Brandon Wallace. Just coming off of turn number 2. And then Steve McDonald, the only other driver yet to make their way down pit road. And you see Steve McDonald having a lot of damage to the front end of that car after making contact with the wall earlier. And Daniel Cunningham continues to stay out on track as we pass lap 50. And the time that he's giving out on track right now is huge. He's running last lap, ran a 31.5. Brandon Wallace ran a 32.6. But then you look at Eddie Smith and Jonah Cobart, who both just ran 29.3s. So big difference in time. As now Daniel Cunningham makes that hard left-hand turn to make his way down to pit road. That's going to give the lead to Brandon Wallace. Kevin Kinder says, hi, Mr. Hall. Good to see you, Kevin. Sorry for the little bit of a choppy stream. Not really sure what is going on here, but we're trying to work through this here tonight. Brandon Wallace continues to stay out here. Don't forget to join us Sunday night as the Original Rebels Racing League Outlaw Series and Sunday Night Truck Series both take on Richmond Raceway as they finish their last race before their championship 4. Of course, it will be in 2 weeks. On December 4th, the Grand National Championship race will be on December 2nd, as we will be taking off time for the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. So just 2 cars out there left the pit, the 99 of Brandon Wallace and the 58 of Jonathan Cofield. The way Wallace is running out there right now, he's just hoping for a caution. Try to use a little bit of strategy and keep himself up towards the front. Because as much as these tires wear here at Darlington, imagine that you'll see most drivers come back down pit road anyways, and he'd be right there even with everybody else. The old saying was at Darlington that the crew chiefs, or the crew, didn't even want to push their car really around the garage area because the track is so abrasive that just pushing the car around can wear the tires right off the car. So just imagine what driving on this track can do. Eddie Smith running down the 31 of Jonah Cobart. And caution is out on track. And it looks like it is for the 54 of Daniel Cunningham. Heavy damage to the right front of that car. He's just going to go ahead and reset and call it quits here tonight. And that's going to bring up another Kinder Farm and Ranch Wreckage Rewind as we take a look to see what happened to Mr. Cunningham here. Catches a little bit of that apron. I heard somebody might have been crashing in front of him. Oh, Brandon Wallace. Something happened to Brandon Wallace here. Oh, Brandon Wallace bounced off the wall right in front of Travis Bieber. I'm sorry, that was Brett Bieber. And then Brandon Wallace comes down and smacks Cunningham. So a lot of damage to these cars as they make their way down onto pit road, led by Brandon Wallace. And he is going to bring the entire field down with him. Jonathan Cofield sits back in second. Jonah Colbert, Eddie Smith, Mike Kosick, Andy Kurtz, and Jesse Nekula all come down pit road in that order. We'll see how they come off of pit road here. So I'm sure Brandon Wallace is going to stay on pit road for a little bit as he has heavy damage to the right side of that car. And it looks like Cofield, first one down and away. Jonah Colbert in second. Eddie Smith, Mike Kosick, Andy Kurtz. And then Jesse Nekula comes off pit road as, again, a lot of damage to the 99 of Brandon Wallace, who is now making his way out onto the track. You see that right front really pushed in on that 99. This is a huge break for Jonathan Cofield. He played that caution absolutely perfect for him as well. We saw him spin the tires on an earlier restart. That's how he got the damage to the right front of his car. Fortunately, it looks like he's got that fixed up enough. So we'll have to see what he's able to do here as he caught the break that he needed to try to advance into the championship 4 here tonight at Darlington. Take a look at those points again. As we see Eddie Smith currently up at the top of the leaderboard. Jonah Colbert in second. Those two drivers have wins. They are locked in to the final 4. Andy Kurtz, Michael Kosick run back in third and fourth. You see Kurtz 5 points ahead of Kosick. Daniel Cunningham 10 points behind Kosick. Brandon Pollock back as well. And Jonathan Cofield, who's currently in the lead. Almost trying to do some quick math here. Almost 20 points behind Michael Kosick coming in. So with less than 20 cars on the racetrack here tonight, the only way that Jonathan Cofield can lock himself into the final 4 is with a win here tonight. If Cofield does not win, then Andy Kurtz and Mike Kosick, as they run, will be moving on to the final 4. So we are re-racked, restacked, and getting ready to refire here at Darlington. Again, Jonathan Cofield chooses the outside lane. We saw him earlier in the outside lane get a little bit of wheel spin. Watch for that here on this restart. Jonah Colbert down to the low side. And Andy Kurtz and Eddie Smith back in row number 2. Michael Kosick and Jesse Nekula back in row 3. And we see Tyler Rice hanging tight back there at the back here. Here comes Brandon Wallace as well as they come off of turn number 4 down to the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. We are back racing here at Darlington as we are quickly approaching 25 laps to go. Cofield gets a little loose there. He's trying to stay out in front of Jonah. He's got to win here tonight to advance to the next round. Jonah trying to stock him here as they go down into the corner. Almost runs into the back of the 58. That's going to allow Eddie Smith to pull right up. And here comes Kosick down to the inside of Eddie Smith, trying to take away that third position as they rocket down into turn number 1. But Smith able to fire off on that high side and stay out in front. Now as they run the battle between Kosick and Kurtz here, this is the battle for the final transfer spot into the final 4 if Cofield was to win, and he is out in front as we speak. Jonah Colbert trying to run down that 58 machine. Even with all that damage, though, Jonathan able to stay out in front. Gets a little loose there off of turn number 2. He's able to stay out in front. Real loose there into turns 3 and 4. Here comes Colbert down to the inside. He's going to take over the lead. And now Eddie Smith going to make his move down underneath the 58. Here comes Kosick as well, and Andy Kurtz. And that's going to move the transfer spots back to the 8 and the 5. So as they run, Mike Kosick and Andy Kurtz are currently locked in to the championship 4. Jonah now starting to pull away from Eddie Smith a little bit. The field starting to stretch back out a little bit as we have work lap number 67 of 100 here at Darlington. Oh, Brandon Wallace has some more issues. He's spun it down to the inside. This is down on the front stretch. And he's just stopped right down there on the front stretch. Not really sure what's going on with the 99 as the field is going to be coming by here in just a moment. There they go. Because he's down way off onto the apron, no caution. Now Kosick has run down Smith. He's going to try to take that second position back away. Smith, though, firing hard on the high side. They almost made contact off of turn number 4. Kosick's going to tuck it back in and try it all over again. Of course, as they run, Andy Kurtz and Kosick are currently locked in to the final 4. But Jonathan Cofield trying to win this race to deny one of those drivers a shot at the championship. As Eddie Smith now got around Jonah Colbert to take over the lead. Let's take a look at the pass. Oh, we see. Looks like, I'll take a look at that one again. It looks like Brandon Wallace might have thrown a little bit of a pick here on Colbert. You see Wallace down. Yeah, Colbert had to check up to keep from running into the back of Brandon Wallace, and that allowed the 87 to get right around Jonah Colbert and puts Eddie Smith out into the lead. Mike Kosick, Andy Kurtz continue to road nose to tail with Jonathan Cofield. Oh, big wiggle out of Jonah Colbert. That's going to allow Cofield right down to the inside. And then Jonah up into the wall. He comes spinning down across the nose of Andy Kurtz. Heavy damage to the 31. No caution. But that checks Kurtz and Cofield up enough to let Mike Kosick escape and run away. Fortunately for Jonah, he is locked into the Final Four with his win. So that does not hurt his chances of moving on, as he is officially moving on. As we have 25 laps to go here at Darlington. So Cofield now runs back in the 4th position, and he's hoping for a late race caution here to try to get himself back up towards the front. As Eddie Smith now has a hard charging Mike Kosick. As Eddie now gets up into the wall, he gets himself a little bit of a Darlington stripe, and that allows Kosick to pull right up on the back bumper as they come across the stripe. Will Kosick try to make the move, or will he stay tucked in behind? He is going to stay tucked in behind for right now. But for how long? Now Smith starts to pull back away from Kosick. Across the line this time, we'll have just 21 laps to go. Eddie Smith back up into the wall. Earns himself another Darlington stripe. You see the right side of that car all scraped up with that Darlington stripe, trying to hold off the 8 of Mike Kosick. They come down the backstretch and into turn number 3. You can see just how close to the wall these drivers are getting. As Kosick takes a look down to the inside, but just not able to make that stick. Almost loses it off of turn number 4. We have just 20 laps to go. Jonah Colbert running back down Jonathan Cofield. Trying to move himself back up into the 4th position. A tough race for some of our other playoff drivers here tonight. We saw Jonathan Cofield have some issues, catch the wall on a restart. Has a lot of damage. Was trying to hold on to the lead, but just wasn't able to as he got real loose off the corner, as Kosick is right there on the back bumper of Eddie Smith yet again with just 18 laps to go. Brandon Pollock, another driver in the playoffs, trying to advance to the Final Four, needs a win here tonight, but we saw the damage that he has on the right side of his car as well from an incident earlier. So unfortunately at this point, he's going to be out of it. Same with the 54 of Daniel Cunningham, who has retired from the race and Jason Lottridge also retired from the race. So both those drivers are officially out of contention for the Final Four. So as they run, your Final Four will be Eddie Smith, Michael Kosick, Andy Kurtz, and Jonathan Cofield, unless something wild happens and either, it's going to be Eddie Smith, Michael Kosick, Andy Kurtz, or Jonah Colbert are going to be your top four. Unless something wild happens here and Jonathan Cofield or Brandon Pollock, one of those drivers somehow sneak out a victory here tonight. But it's going to take next to a miracle for those drivers to get themselves into the championship four. Jonah Colbert takes a look down to the inside of Jonathan Cofield. And he's going to slide Cofield back into the 5th position. We just saw Eddie Smith real loose off the corner. As we ride along with Eddie, you see the damage to the right front fender of this 87. Great view of him working his hands inside the wheel and seeing just how loose that car is up off the corner. As Kosick continues to try to work to the inside. Now he's going to make another move. Ooh, both drivers got really loose there off of turn number 4. We have just 14 laps to go. Ooh, Eddie's still loose off of turn number 4. Looks like he might have caught the wall a little bit again. And Kosick right there trying to take advantage. And now you see Kosick really loose behind. You hear the revs jumping up as he comes up off the corner. Trying to do everything he can to hold on to this car for the next 12 laps. See both drivers sliding all over the track. You see Kosick really working the wheel, working the car up off the corner, doing everything he can to hold on to it. And trying to find himself a way around the 87 of Eddie Smith. Eddie throws a little bit of a defensive move down into turn number 1. That allows Kosick to pull right up just a little bit now. Again, big wiggles out of the back end of this machine. See just how hard he's working inside, trying to run down Eddie Smith as we come to 10 laps to go. And Andy Kurtz is right there. Andy Kurtz has caught these two. So we really haven't talked about Andy in a little bit. And all of a sudden, he's moved his way right up into the mix. And could he get the win here tonight? As you see the lap traffic up in front of Eddie. How much will lap traffic play a part in the outcome of this race as well? Last few laps, it's starting to get interesting as Kosick takes another look down to the inside of Eddie Smith. As they come off of turn number 4, Smith and Kosick both real loose off of the corner. That allows Smith to stay out in front. That allowed Kurtz to close in a little bit more. He's knocking right there on the back bumper of the 8 of Kosick. And as we've seen, it's easy to catch a driver. It's hard to get by. Kevin Kinder says Andy is a tire saver on good on long runs. He is, and he is making his presence known here with just 7 laps to go. And Andy is right there on the back bumper, working his way through turns 3 and 4. Again, Kurtz, Kosick, they don't need a win here tonight. The way those two are running, they will be locked in to the final 4. But pride is also on the line, trying to get the win here tonight. Because in 2 weeks, we'll have our championship race. As we'll move to Homestead Miami for winner takes all. No playoff points, no stages, no nothing. It's just going to be a head-up race for the championship in 2 weeks at Homestead. Just 4.5 laps to go. Eddie Smith out in front, catching some more lap traffic. See Steve McDonald right there on the low side. Eddie Smith looking up to the high side as they come off of turn number 4. McDonald's going to tuck down onto the apron, let our leaders by. Just 4 laps to go. Eddie Smith slides up the track again, trying to find that grip. There is grip right up against the wall, but it's such a fine line between getting into the wall and finding that grip. Here comes Kosick back down to the inside. Eddie Smith sideways off the corner. Kosick is almost there. We have 2 laps to go. Andy Kurtz starting to fall off these 2 drivers just a little bit. Down onto the backstretch they come. We saw just how little tires these drivers have as they are slip sliding all over the track. Off of turn number 4, white flag is in the air. Eddie Smith has 1 more lap to go. Kosick right there on the back bumper. Is Kosick going to feel content riding back in second place, knowing that he's locked into the final 4? Or is he going to push the issue as they come off of turn number 2? Eddie Smith gets loose. He's going to slide on the apron, and Kosick is going to jump up to the high side. Kosick, with a last lap pass, going to make his way around the A7 Eddie Smith. Does Eddie have anything left in the tank to try to get back by? Here comes Andy Kurtz down as well, but across the line, Mike Kosick is going to get the win. Eddie Smith is going to come home in second. Andy Kurtz in third, and both Kosick and Kurtz are going to lock themselves in to the Championship 4 in 2 weeks at Homestead, Miami. What a finish. Kosick just knocking at the door the last couple weeks. Finally gets the job done with a victory here tonight at Darlington as he's going to come down onto the front stretch and he's going to celebrate his victory. After a long, hard victory here tonight. And then the Rebels Demolition Derby is now underway as Kosick pulls off the track. And we take a look at our final results. Again, Mike Kosick gets the win Eddie Smith comes home in second. Andy Kurtz in third. Jonah Colbert and Jonathan Cofield, your top five. Jesse Nekula comes home sixth. Tyler Rice, Brandon Pollock, Brett Bieber, and Steve McDonald, your top 10. Brandon Wallace in 11th. Daniel Cunningham in 12th. Ray Page, Jason Lottridge, William Griffith, and Matt Kleeman round out the field here tonight at Darlington as we get ready to talk to our top three. Starting with our third place finisher, Andy Kurtz. Andy, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, man. What's up?
Man, what a hard-fought battle for you here tonight, coming home in third. Just needed a decent finish to lock yourself into the top four, and that's exactly what you did. So congratulations. You're going to be battling for a championship in 2 weeks at Homestead, Miami. That's got to feel pretty good.
Awesome. Yeah.
Did you know that the points were going to be that close there at the end, or did you know you just had to have a decent finish with the small car count there was here tonight?
No, honestly, so I looked at the points just a little bit before the race, and I saw I was, had a pretty good cushion over like 5th place. So, but when it's a couple laps to go and you're watching the leaders race like that, and they're racing hard, and you're kind of catching them a little bit, and last thing you're thinking about is points race, and you want to win the race. So it was a lot of fun watching them both race, and I was figuring a lot of stuff out as the race went, so that this was a tough track car combination for me, and I don't think I was the third quickest car. A couple guys got into some stuff, but yeah, it was fun. Definitely made the most of it.
So you were able to hold your tire or save your tires a little bit longer than our leaders were, and you were coming there at the end. You think if those two got to racing a little bit harder and you had a few more laps, you might have had something for those guys?
Yeah, I was at least trying to. I think I was probably able to save my stuff a little bit just because I wasn't racing side by side. That's so tough to do here. Um, I don't know what it looks like on the broadcast, but it's hard to run just your car on this track. So when you're running side by side, it's really difficult. So they put on a good show, but when you're doing that, you're burning up your tires. And I was just trying to reel them in and trying to search around a little bit. I was surprised that the bottom was working pretty good in 3 and 4, even on old tires. I saw Caustic was doing a good job staying on Eddie's, staying next to him, trying to pass him through 3 and 4. So I was trying to make that work, but yeah, just a little bit short, but yeah, it was fun.
Well, great job here tonight, locking yourself into that championship four. Before we let you go here, Indy, anyone you want to thank, any shout you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, man, just want to thank you. Awesome broadcast. I'm going to be excited to watch this one in a little bit here. Yeah, just want to thank all the admins, Jonah, Daniel, for helping us do this and doing all the stuff they got to do to make this happen, let us race. Really appreciate that. Want to thank everyone in this league. That was a really good race. It's a tough track, and there are only a handful of cautions. So shout out to everyone in the field, lap cars, being respectful. Always appreciate it. So yeah, looking forward to next week, or 2 weeks, I guess.
Yep, 2 weeks. We take a little break off for Thanksgiving. So again, congrats, and we look forward to seeing what you can do at Homestead.
All right, thank you.
So that was your third place finisher, Andy Kurtz. Let's bring in your second place finisher here, Eddie Smith. Eddie, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, Josh.
Man, great run for you tonight. Had the lead for a while, caught the wall a couple of times, and at the end there, it looked like you guys were just racing on ice. Talk us through those last couple laps and what happened there to let Kosick on by you.
Yeah, I was telling him I was qualifying really good, but I don't know if the track changes or what really. I bounced it off the wall quite a bit early in the race. I don't want to blame it on damage, but I just could never find the rear grip that they had, and I tried a couple different ways of driving and never could find it. So I never fixed my damage just because it felt like I was still competitive, and I didn't want to lose track position. So I felt like Jonah had me covered. I don't think I could have run him back down. I just couldn't get on the throttle like these guys could off the corner. So I don't know if I just a little bit down on power, the damage was just enough. Just got beat, couldn't figure it out. Got lucky there with Jonah with a lap car and got around him. And I knew, I told Cossack, I said, and when he got to me with about 20 laps to go, I said, well, I got to do the 20 best laps that I could possibly do to defend this. I felt like I could hold him off. I just needed to be perfect. And I did about 19 and a half.
Sometimes that's all it takes. But you were already locked into the Final Four, so I know you were just trying to get the win here tonight. But we move on to Homestead in 2 weeks. How you like your chances in the finale?
I don't know. I don't know about Homestead. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Just depends. But I think whoever's left, whoever wins the championship is going to be deserving. So I think I'm just going to go and have fun and hopefully we get a championship.
Well, our top four, so it's going to be you, Jonah, Mike, and Andy. So it's going to be quite the top four at Homestead in 2 weeks. So we're looking forward to that for sure. So before I let you go, Eddie, anyone you want to thank? Any shout outs you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, shout out to teammates, JC Motorsports. Thank them for putting on the series too. Darlington for putting on building a damn fine racetrack. And Michael Kostick, Andy Kurtz there at the end, man. That was just a lot of fun. I mean, it's fun. I told Kostick, I said, I don't know if some people might be get mad about that type of racing and racing hard, but I tell you, Kostick's one of the guys who just doesn't mind, man. And I know that I can race him hard. I know I can defend and race hard, and that's what he enjoys the same as I do. So, man, just a big shout out to him for. I know he was faster, but I wanted to try to win so dang bad. So, but he did a great job. So, congratulations to him, and of course, thank you for broadcasting.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks again, and we look forward to seeing what you do at Homestead in 2 weeks.
See you, Josh.
So that was your second place finisher, Eddie Smith. Let's bring in your winner here tonight, Mike Kosick. Mike, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, what a wild finish there. You've been knocking on the door for a couple of weeks, and you've been able to get that win here tonight and cement your spot in the Final Four at Homestead, Miami. That's got to feel pretty good because you're going to be racing for a championship in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, yeah. That race was a lot of fun. It was tough to pass. The cars were pretty slick on the high side in 3 and 4, so I just tried to keep it low. But man, that was fun.
Yeah, we rode on along with you and Eddie for a little bit. It looked like you guys were out there driving on ice. Just how it seemed like the tires just fell off tremendously, and just being able to slide around and keep that car underneath you was a challenge here tonight, and to be able to race side by side. So how can you talk about those last couple laps, especially where you're able to get around Eddie when he made the mistake?
Yeah, I mean, once the tires worn, it was, if you just got on the throttle a little bit too much, it just wanted to snap the back end around. So I was trying to set up a runoff of 2 so I can get around him in 3 and 4 because I felt like I was a little faster. But that last lap, I knew I just had to drive in right behind him and try to pressure him into some sort of mistake.
Well, you move on in 2 weeks to Homestead, Miami, battle for a championship with Eddie Smith, Andy Kurtz, and Jonah Colbert. How do you like your chances at Homestead?
They're all right. I mean, it's probably one of my better mile-and-a-half tracks. Not usually too great at them, so just go and have fun.
And hopefully bring yourself home a championship in 2 weeks. So again, Mike, congrats on the win here tonight. Congrats on moving on to Homestead. And before I let you go, anyone thank you to shout you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, thank you for doing the broadcast. Jonah and Daniel for what they're doing for the series and all the other commissioners of the league, and teammates at Bandit Motorsports.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congrats, and we look forward to seeing what you do after the holiday. So good luck in 2 weeks.
All right, man, thanks.
So there you have it, your winner here tonight, Mike Kosick, getting the win and locking himself into the Final Four. Again, we look forward to you guys joining us in 2 weeks at Homestead, Miami for the final race of the season. Don't forget to join us here on Sunday night for the truck doubleheader as they have their final round of the round of 8, where they'll be moving 2 drivers, one from each race, to the Final Four at their, I believe the Final Four for the trucks will be at Phoenix. Nope, it's Atlanta. So 2 weeks at Atlanta. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining, whether you watch on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch. We do appreciate you joining us here tonight. Don't forget that like button, follow, and subscribe. Check out our partners below at raceepi.com and TennesseeBroadcasting.com and thebuttkicker.com. And as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, over